Good morning guys, welcome to the video. Today I'm going to try to do Jackson's 8-month update. I'm downstairs with this little dude before everybody else is awake, so I'm going to try to see if I can update you guys on how he's doing. He loves coming down here to play with Riley's ice cream truck because when Riley's down here, she doesn't let him. Oh, bless you. So anyway, we have a lot to talk about. I have questions that you guys asked me on Instagram and all of that. So let's first start off with his schedule because I know you guys always want to know about his schedule. So right now, Jackson goes to bed like around 6:30. It kind of changes day to day just based off of like his nap schedule and how long his naps were. But normally by 6:30, he's asleep in bed and then he wakes up like around 7. So some days it's a little earlier and we'll talk about that later when I talk about like the early wake ups and how we got him to like sleep in a little longer. But for the most part, I leave him in his crib until 7 a.m. and that's when we start our day. I bring him into my bed, I nurse him, and we'll also talk about nursing and how often I'm nursing when we get to that. So 7 a.m. wake up, then nursing. He's usually then down for his first nap like around 10, and then he has a second nap around 2, and then we start his nighttime routine around 5:30 or 6, and he's in bed by that 6 or 6:30. That's pretty much like his nap schedules and stuff like that. He's doing only 2 naps right now. He dropped that 3rd nap, and as of right now, it's actually kind of working for us, the 2 naps. Like when I was trying to fit in 3 naps, and the 3rd nap was way too close to his bedtime and all of that, but that's his schedule. What you doing, little dude? Hi. So he's got the cutest little pajamas on. This is what he spends his entire life in these like little sleepers. He's wearing 6 to 9 months, and in diapers he's a size 2. He has had so much fun this month, like crawling around everywhere and sitting up. So that was a big milestone. Like I think in the last update I showed you that he was crawling, but like now he's like legit crawling and super fast. And then he's sitting up on his own and going from the crawling position to the sitting position. So he is very mobile. He also got his first tooth, which is super exciting. I don't know if he's gonna let me like show you guys his tooth. I'll have to see if I can insert a clip or show a photo or something of his tooth. But he has one little tooth all the way in the bottom, and I have a feeling that more are coming soon because he's been teething like crazy. He wants to put everything in his mouth, and he's been like super like clingy and fussy the last couple days. So I'm sure that his teeth are bothering him. And yes, he has bitten me. Oh my god, it has been so painful because I'm still nursing him, and every once in a while, or not like every once in a while, at least a few times a day, he freaking bites my boob, and I have to let out like a loud scream because that's one of the things that they tell you to do, is like to make it like a thing so that they can learn, hey, like this hurts mama, like let's stop biting on her boob. But he is just the cutest little thing, having the best time playing with still the blocks. He loves those blocks that are Riley's, plays with them all the time. And then this is another toy that he's been having a lot of fun with this month. This is actually one of the toys that came in his Love Every Play kit, but look how good he does that. And then he gets all happy. He grabs a ball, puts it in there. So he's been working on his like hand-eye coordination, and he seems to be doing really well. He's trying to put the stick in there. You can't do that, Gordo. Those toys that came in his play kit have been awesome for like his development. He also has like the little stacking cups that he loves. So those have been a huge hit. I know you guys are always asking me for toy recommendations and stuff. I'll link the kits down below, but those are a subscription service. So I know that not everybody's into like subscription things, but that toy in particular, like this one with the balls and the hole and stuff, I found one on Amazon, like the standalone toy, because like Love Every doesn't sell the toys like by themselves. You have to buy the play kits, but I found a toy that's just like this one, like the individual toy. It's like $25, but I'll link it anyway in case you guys are interested. It's just been so cool to see him like go from not being quite able to get this in the hole and then to finally being able to do it like over and over again. So his skills are definitely improving. I had to get like a little bumper here too because he was like about to crash into this all the time. So I got this little like adhesive bumper for the corners and stuff here by the fireplace so that he wouldn't bump his head. All right, so let's talk a little bit about his eating. I guess we can start with eating. So first and foremost, I am still nursing Jackson. So right now we don't have any formula. I'm not supplementing. I'm just nursing him. At first, I was trying to get on like a 3 or 4 hour schedule. I'm pretty sure the last update I was telling you guys that I think the doctor had recommended that I go every 4 hours of nursing him. And I tried that, but I feel like he was still like always hungry, or like he always still wanted to nurse. So to make my life a little bit easier and just not have to stress about like one more thing, I decided to just kind of like nurse him on demand. So whenever I feel like he's hungry, or whenever I feel like he's being super clingy or like crawling up me and I can tell that he wants to nurse, nurse, I just nurse him. Sometimes it's every 2.5 hours, sometimes it's every 3 hours, sometimes it's every 2 hours. It just kind of depends on him and how hungry he is. So that's been working fine for us. I haven't had any issues with that. And then I nurse him like in the morning right after he wakes up, and then right before bed. And usually I'll nurse him a little bit like right before I put him down for his nap, so he's getting his milk in at least that way. And then we have been supplementing finger foods, and we've been doing like a combo of baby-led weaning and purees and all that. This little dude loves to eat. Like, he is such a good eater. I'm so proud of him. He's a much better eater than his sister already, so at least the process is working. I did a video not too long ago sharing like what my 7-month-old eats in a day, so I'm gonna link that down below in case you guys want to see him eating in action and all of that, and just get some ideas of like what to feed your baby. But an update on baby-led weaning. A lot of you guys asked me like when I started introducing solids and all of that. So I'm pretty sure that at 4 months we started with rice cereal, and then we did a little bit of purees, but honestly like not that much. It was really more just like rice cereal in the morning. And then I'm pretty sure, if I have my dates right and all of that, because I sometimes don't remember, I think at 6 months is when the doctor said you guys can go ahead and start the baby-led weaning process, and you can feed him pretty much whatever you want. So I did all my research about baby-led weaning, and the first like month, I want to say, was really hard. The first month was difficult because at that age, when they're so little still, like at 6 months, they don't have the pincer grip. They don't have the ability to grab teeny tiny pieces. So when you follow traditional baby-led weaning theory or whatever, like they tell you to give them like long strips of food. And so I did that. I tried that. I gave him some pieces of toast and with the avocado on it and all of that. But it was honestly really scary. Like straight up, it was terrifying. My anxiety was at an all-time high because I would give him these things, and yes, he was able to eat them, but I was always terrified that like a huge piece of toast was gonna like go down his throat, or I was super scared that he was gonna break off a giant piece and that he was gonna choke and die. Like literally every single day, like 3 times a day, I thought that he was gonna choke, and like that just was not very good for my anxiety. Sorry, of course my battery would die, but so yeah, I was terrified that he was gonna choke. So honestly, there came a point where I almost gave up. I almost said, you know what, forget it, I can't do this. Like, it's cool in theory, but it's just too much, and I'm just gonna stick to purees. Like, there was a point where I thought about it. Like, I was reading an article about a mom whose baby choked, and it terrified me, and I was like, you know what, I can't do this. But then I thought about it a little bit, and I was like, I don't think that I need to necessarily give up completely. Like, I think that we can do more of like a combo method. I think that I can still give him certain finger foods that I feel comfortable with, and still give him other things that are not super finger foods. Like I can give him still some purees. I can give him like mashed things, you know, things that are a little bit easier for him to eat, that I don't have to worry so much about him choking. And so that's what I did for a little while. I did just like mashed berries on his plate. I still let him feed himself. Like I would make him his oatmeal cereal. I would make him like sweet potato mash, and I would let him, you know, put that in his mouth on his own. So it was kind of like a combo feed there for like a month. So I just had to like figure out like what I felt comfortable with and what he was responding well to. And he loves to feed himself, and he loves to grab things now. So I didn't want to take that away from him completely and just say, you know what, because mom is scared, like I just have to give him purees, because I feel like I was gonna take something away from him. But I did see that he enjoyed putting foods in his mouth, and he was actually really good at it. Like honestly, this kid is really good at feeding himself. So as we got closer and closer to the 7-month mark, we started working on his pincer grip. I started giving him like those little baby puffs, like the things that look like little Cheerios, and working on that pincer grip, because I knew that as soon as he gets that pincer grip, the ability to pick up teeny tiny pieces, that I would feel a lot more comfortable, because then I'd be able to cut things up into small pieces where I knew that he wouldn't choke on them, and then like the whole baby-led weaning thing would be a lot less scary. So a little bit into the 7-month mark, maybe a couple weeks into it, he did get that pincer grip, and now he can put teeny tiny pieces in his mouth, and the whole eating situation is 1,000 times easier on me, and he loves it. He goes to town. So now he pretty much can eat almost anything that we're eating. A lot of times I'll give him like for dinner whatever's on my plate. So he's eaten pieces of chicken, he's had pieces of rice, he's had tortellini. He likes to have these like little baked oatmeal bars that I make from scratch. He's had muffins, he has fruit, he likes bananas, he likes strawberries, still likes his avocado toast, but now I cut it up into like little pieces, so I feel a lot more comfortable with bread. But so far there hasn't been a lot that he hasn't liked, except for broccoli. Broccoli he did not like. I shared that on my Instagram and he was not a fan of broccoli. Also, like cut up avocado he doesn't like as much as like when it's spread. I don't know if there's something about the texture, but we're having a really fun time exposing him to different textures, and he will still sometimes have like mashed things. He likes his sweet potato mash that I make him, and every once in a while if I'm in a bind I will give him just a quick puree if we're in a hurry, if I don't have a lot of time to spend on dinner, if I need something quick and easy. I'm not opposed to giving him puree. Riley just woke up, so you guys are gonna hear her in the background. But all of this long spiel about the eating just to say that when it comes to your baby's eating, don't freak out. Like, figure out what works for you, whether that's purees only or baby-led weaning completely or a combo of it. Don't feel like you need to be pressured into doing things a certain way. Like, I know that baby-led weaning is like the cool thing to do, and you know, just feeding your kids whatever you're eating, but it's not for everyone. And if you're like not gonna handle it well and it's gonna cause you to be stressed out all the time, there's no shame in like not doing that. You don't have to do that. So like I say with everything, you just have to find what works for you and for your family. That is it.
Hello, Squish.
Morning, Dada. Oh, and as far as like how often he's eating, right now I'm giving him at least 2 meals a day. Like, I'll give him either a breakfast and a lunch, or I'll give him a lunch and a dinner. Some days I'll give him all 3 meals. Like, if I'm feeling up to it, every time that I sit down for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I'll give him a little something. Not so much because he needs it, but more just to expose him to different things and to get me used to exposing him to different things. And then, like I said, in between all of that, I'm nursing him on demand. So this little guy is fed. I'm pretty sure he's doing fine. I don't have his stats because we haven't gone to the doctor this month, but I feel like he's doing just fine. Look, he came over here to do it again. Good job! Good job, Godu! He gets all happy. Good job! Okay, so sleeping. We did the whole sleep training thing. It's documented here on my channel. I'll leave those videos linked down below in case you guys want to check them out, or if you're new here and you have no idea what I'm talking about. But we sleep trained him at 6 months, and he did pretty well, like all through the night, like right when we sleep trained him. But the issue that we were having was he was waking up really early. He was waking up like around 5:30. And at first when we did the sleep training, I said, you know what, if he wakes up anytime after 5, then I'll bring him into my bed and nurse him, and that'll be like our wake up. But then like that was way too early for me, so I was like, let's try to figure this out. And I asked you guys for help and all of that. So what I ended up doing was just leaving him in the crib until 7. So even if he would wake up at 5:30, I would obviously watch him through the monitor and just leave him there. And sometimes, yes, he would cry a little bit, but I left him, and within a few days he just realized that he wasn't going to be waking up at 5:30, but that was just still too early, and he'd put himself back to sleep till more around 6:30 or 7. So now that's what he's doing, and it is amazing. Like, getting a full night's sleep has been life-changing. Honestly, it feels so good to be sleeping again, and he's getting the sleep that he needed. So he's doing great with his nighttime sleep. I really have no complaints about that. We've been having some issues with his naps just because they're super inconsistent. I've told you guys on Instagram, like sometimes his naps are 30 minutes long, and then other days his naps are like an hour and a half. So I don't do anything differently. His wake windows are pretty much the same. So I can't really understand like how sometimes his naps are half an hour and sometimes they're a lot longer. But the good news is that it's not super unusual now for him to sleep like an hour at his naps, because there was a time when like if he would sleep even like 50 minutes, like wow, like that was amazing. That was like super rare for him to do that. Now it's more of a common thing to at least get like 50 minutes to an hour in the morning, and then another hour in the afternoon. Or sometimes he'll do like a long nap in the morning and then half an hour nap in the afternoon, or vice versa, swapped. But at least he's getting much better naps these days than just 30 minutes and 30 minutes. So maybe eventually as time goes on, he'll kind of get more consistent. I know also he's teething now, so that might kind of be a factor in how long he naps some days, but he's doing good. Like, I really feel like we've made so much progress. And in terms of like, is he crying and all of that, there are some days that I put him down for his nap and he cries for maybe 10 minutes. Other days he doesn't cry at all. Sometimes he cries for 2 minutes, but it's very rare that he has an instance where he's crying for like 30 minutes to go to sleep anymore. Like, there have been times, especially at night, like there's been some times when like he's been a little overtired, or like his wake windows were a little off, and then it was a lot harder for him to go to sleep, and we had a bit of crying, and that always just like ruins my night. But for the most part, he's doing great. And then the other thing that I did to get him to like extend his naps, or that I feel has probably helped with the extending of his naps, is we started doing crib hour. So crib hour is basically like if you put your baby down for their nap and they only sleep for half an hour, you leave them in the crib for another half an hour. Even if that means that the other half an hour they're crying, you're just trying to teach them that after half an hour, you don't just get up out of the crib. Like, you have to be sleeping or in your crib for a full hour at the very least. So we started doing that, and I feel like that has helped him to learn how to connect those sleep cycles. And there are some times when he'll wake up after half an hour and he'll cry. He'll even like sit up, and then eventually he goes back down to sleep and extends his nap. It doesn't happen every time. Sometimes he's just awake after half an hour, but leaving him in the crib for that time, I feel like has helped him to learn that, hey, you know what, if I'm still a little bit sleepy, let me just go back to sleep for a little while. So that's how he's doing on sleep. He's made so much progress. If you go back and watch my vlogs and know what I went through to get this guy to sleep, then you guys know that he has come a very long way. So as far as toys go, he does have a few of his baby toys that he really likes, but for the most part, it seems like he really likes Riley's toys a lot better than his. This is Riley's little food truck that we've had for a very long time. It has like all the little pretend food, and he loves to play with this stuff. He'll spend like a ton of time just here at the food truck, just playing with the food and then like putting it in here and like grabbing everything out of there and just making a mess. So this has been a really big hit. Same thing with the little ice cream carts that you guys always see him playing with. He really likes just to play with random things like that. This toy he's been a big fan of this month. And then Riley's block set he still plays with. This is the little cube that I showed you guys in the last update. He still likes this. But I have this whole bin of like baby toys, and he hardly plays with it. I bought him this little remote control. Like, he'll play with it for like a second, but he'd much rather play with that food truck. This little ball has been a good one. He will every once in a while play with this one for a while. But yeah, he definitely likes his sister's toys more than his. I will tell you guys though, this little bouncer thing, he hates. He will not stay in here for more than 5 minutes. He's just not a bouncer kind of guy. He would much rather be like crawling and getting into things, and even playing with just like a little spoon or like a little bowl that I throw on the floor. Anything random like that that he can find. And then we've been using this walker to help him practice like his standing up, because I'm sure that he's gonna be walking a lot faster than Riley was. So I'm pretty sure I'll insert a clip here if you guys can see like me practicing him standing up on the walker. And he does really well. He hasn't quite taken like independent steps forward with it, but he will just kind of stand up there, and we work on that at least a couple times a day. I just finished giving Jackson his breakfast. So he had some oatmeal with some banana and almond butter. He loves his oatmeal. Yeah, Joe's pretty sure, he's like pretty convinced that Jackson said dada. So I'm trying to get him on camera so you guys can see for yourself. Like, obviously I don't think that he knows what he's saying, but see if he can say dada. How do you say dada? Dada. Stop trying to bite me. How do you say dada? Dada. You say mama? Mama? Dada. He's kind of like in this phase where he just kind of like babbles, and like sometimes he'll just be like ba ba, but he's not really like saying any words. I'm pretty sure that he's gonna be a lot more developed. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that he's gonna develop like his motor skills and like walking and all of that quicker than Riley did, but I think that Riley is the one that is gonna be the talker. What do you want to tell them? Here, I have him just kind of pulling up on the couch so he can work on his standing. We got the remote in front of him so he can go after that. Dada. Dada. How do you say dada? Dada. You can see his tooth there, I think. Dada. You say dada. You say dada? Dada? So yeah, that's the extent of his talking right now. I'm also trying to teach him how to wave, so every once in a while I'll just be like, hi, and I open and close my hand, but he hasn't quite gotten it yet. You want to say hi? Hi! And I'm pretty sure that Riley at this age was doing that, so he hasn't quite mastered some of those things that Riley used to do, but I'm also pretty sure that Riley wasn't standing up and like as mobile as he is at this age. The other thing that's been super fun to watch is like his personality, because like He has a temper, like when Riley takes away his toys and stuff, because Riley is like not into sharing right now, he gets pissed and he starts like throwing himself on the floor and he starts like crying, and he lets you know when he's pissed off. Are you sleepy? When he starts like kind of singing like that, it means he's getting sleepy. And when he starts like blowing bubbles like with his mouth, and when he goes that kind of means that he's tired. It's time for his nap. So yeah, I'm gonna put him down for his nap, and then we can sit down and do a little Q&A, and I'll answer some of the questions that you guys left me. But say bye-bye. Say bye, guys. Look at my tooth. All right, so Jackson's down for his nap. I'm gonna answer some questions. Riley's in the background there in her house playing, so just don't mind her. Did sleep training help? Yes, sleep training helps 1000%. I do not regret it whatsoever. It has definitely made a huge difference in his sleeping. How is Jackson's development similar or different to Riley's? I think I explained that. Like, I think that he's gonna be a little slower in his verbal development, but faster in his motor, and then Riley was vice versa. So far, that's kind of what I've seen. Have you found him easier or harder than Riley? Dear Lord, I mean, they've both been difficult children. I don't know what to say. He was definitely harder in the sense that he had like that colic and that reflux in the beginning, and then he wasn't sleeping. I have found him, I think, overall a harder baby than Riley was, but you know, Riley also has her challenges. So I have 2 difficult babies, but they are also like the best thing that has ever happened to me. How is baby-led weaning going on? Does he gag or vomit? I kind of explained how the whole process has been going. Does he gag or vomit? To this day, sometimes every once in a while he'll gag. Like, he kind of gags on broccoli because he didn't like it. So when he's trying like a new texture or something new, he does gag from time to time. He only vomited once, like the first week that we did it, but after that he hasn't vomited, so thank the Lord. Do you introduce food one ingredient at a time? I mean, at the very beginning, yes, I was like very careful about what I was introducing and only introducing that one new food for like 3 or 4 days. But at this point, I mean, as long as it's not like something that's high on like the allergen list, like there's a couple like things like peanut butter and eggs, and there's certain things that have a higher likelihood that, you know, they might be allergic to. If it's something like that, I'll try to stick to that for a few days before giving him something else. But I've given him like chicken and rice brand new like at the same day, and he's done fine with it. So any tips to help them crawl? My baby's 6 months, hasn't been crawling yet. So the only tip I have for you in terms of like getting your baby to crawl is just to put them on the floor more often, and to try to help them develop like that tummy time skill. They need to have like that strength of like being in that tummy position. I know that Jackson hated that position for a long time. I do feel that having him in the baby carrier did help him with like his neck muscle. So if your baby hasn't quite mastered the tummy time thing, put them on your bed, put them on their belly, practice every single day. And then as far as crawling goes, I just put him on the floor a lot, and I would put things that I knew he was interested in, like the TV remote or like my phone, in front of him, and he would kind of have to like figure out how to get it and kind of inchworm his way there. And he inchwormed for a while, and then eventually he went to crawling. But other than that, I didn't do anything special to get him to crawl. So how often does he breastfeed and for how long? I told you guys I breastfeed him on demand, and for how long? Not super long. Like, he breastfeeds maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes total. Like, depends on like his mood at the time. Like, his attention span honestly is not very long for breastfeeding, which is probably why he needs to eat a little bit more often. But it works for us because we're here at home, and if I feel like he's hungry, I can just sit on the couch or wherever I am and just feed him. So that hasn't been like a problem for us, for our lifestyle right now. But it's not a very long, it's not like he nurses for an hour every time. What are you doing? Are you being silly? What are you doing? Say hi, friend. You silly. Why does that make you laugh so much? Okay, Riley, do you like Jackson? Yeah? Is he your brother?
Yep.
Do you share your toys with him? Do you share your toys with Jackson?
Yeah.
You know you do not. But you have to share. He's your little brother. Say, I love him. Say, I love Jackson.
I love that.
So since Jackson started standing, is he starting to attempt to jump out of his crib? So he's not standing on his own, but you guys can see that he will be in the standing position with the little walker. But I'm not sure in which one of my vlogs I mentioned it, but there was one time when we put Jackson in his crib this month, I looked into the monitor and he had pulled himself up, okay? And it freaked me out. Then he ended up like letting go and he fell back in the crib. But as soon as that happened, I told Joe to lower the crib mattress, and we lowered it, and he hasn't done that again. Thank God, because when they start doing that stuff in the crib, then it's like a mission, because then that's all that they want to do. So we lowered it and he hasn't done it since, but I obviously know that he has the ability to find a way to pull himself up. He will get on his knees when he's trying to reach for things, so it's just a matter of time till he stands up. Did he ever have a nursing strike? No, he always wants to nurse. How did you deal with teething? As far as teething goes, all I do is teethers. I do teethers in the fridge. I've tried the wet washcloths every once in a while, I'll do it, but then I find that they're really like cold for him to hold, so I don't really know if he likes that. Like the frozen washcloth, then it's freezing cold. So I do the cold teethers. I don't do any kind of teething gel. Every once in a while, like when it's a really bad day, I'll do a little bit of the infant's Tylenol, but I try to avoid giving him stuff like that unless he absolutely needs it. His pooping schedule, I got a lot of questions about his pooping schedule. He doesn't poop every day. His pooping has definitely changed since we introduced the solids, but at least every 2, 3, maybe 4 days he's pooping. So I don't think that there's any issue. It's definitely a lot more solid than it used to be. It's like a little patty, a little pancake. But I think as of right now, his pooping is fine. It's not like he goes a week without pooping, so I'm not really concerned at this point. Jackson's favorite food, his favorite food would probably be like those teething crackers. He loves those teething crackers. So he goes to town devouring them. I obviously know that those are somewhat processed, but he loves that. And recently he's really started to enjoy that sweet potato mash that I make him. Like I give it to him with a spoon and then he like eats it with his hand and it gets all over his face. He hasn't really had like a lot of things that I can tell you like he doesn't like. How is his umbilical hernia? So Jackson did have an umbilical hernia when he was really little, but it went away on its own. So his belly button right now looks like a perfectly normal belly button. The doctor did tell us that most of the umbilical hernias go away with time on their own without doing anything. So that's what we did. We did nothing and it went away. I love you. I love you. So is Jackson getting screen time during his meals? He doesn't get screen time, but definitely not how I used to like give Riley the iPad at his age, like for meal times. If the TV is on, like in the background, he may watch it, but I'm trying to get him just to concentrate on eating his food. And the same with Riley, like we're trying to limit the screen time during meals so that she'll pay more attention to her eating. But he does still watch Baby Einstein from time to time and he loves it, so he's still watching it. I don't want you guys to think that I've taken all of the screen time away. So is it starting to get hard to change his diapers? Is he wiggling a lot? Oh my god, that is like one of my biggest frustrations right now. Every single time that I go to change him, whether it's his diaper or his clothes, he throws a fit and starts crying and starts wiggling. He hates being changed. So yeah, I do not look forward to that at all, because I know that it's going to be a mission every single time, but I don't really think that there's much I can do about that. How do you give water to Jackson? I give him like straight from my cup sometimes. Like if I'm drinking water, I'll just give him a little bit, and he likes drinking it from like an adult human cup. But I also have like the little easy peasy cup, the little tiny one that I've shown before. It's just a totally open cup. I'll give it to him like that. And every once in a while, if I want him to do it like himself without making a mess, I'll just use like the little sippy cup that I have. So I do try to give him a little bit of water here and there throughout the day. If Jackson had any allergies to any of the foods, not that I can tell. Like at first I did think that he was having some food allergies, because I started to notice this month, Riley is tapping over here on my coffee mug. I started to notice that he would get like these rough patches on his arms and sometimes on his legs. And at first I thought maybe that's an allergic reaction to some of the foods, because it started to happen around the time that we started giving him solids. But now that it's happened enough, started to think that it's more like eczema related. Riley has eczema. She gets rough patches too on her skin. So I think that both of my kids have very sensitive skin. And the only thing that we do for that is we put Aquaphor. Like I even had a telemedicine visit with one of the doctors about that, thinking that it was a rash. But she told us just to apply Aquaphor like before bed, just to kind of soothe that dry skin. So right now that's like the only product we're using. We use like a Baby Dove body wash, and I use kind of like a couple different body washes for them, but something very clean, very sensitive, and then we put Aquaphor on that, and that seems to help. And they kind of come and they kind of go, but I don't think that they're actually allergies to foods. I just think it's their sensitive skin. I did get some questions about like 6 to 9 month essentials for Jackson, but I kind of want to like do a separate video for that, because I kind of go around the house and show you guys what he's been using. So stay tuned for that. I'm pretty sure I'll get a chance to film that before the 9 months is over. The last thing that I wanted to kind of address really quick was about sleeping again and going back to like his naps, because I did get some questions about like whether or not he naps around the same time every day. At first, when I was trying to figure out like the sleep schedule schedule for him. I was stressing myself out so much because I was like trying to figure out what his schedule should look like. I was going online researching all these schedules, and I was looking up the like wake windows, and I was really having a really hard time because like I couldn't get it right, and I was really frustrated. I'd put him down sometimes, and then he wouldn't go to sleep, and he would fight his nap, and then I was like, well, is he overtired? Is he undertired? Like figuring out their nap is hard. It's really hard, and you feel like you're doing something wrong, and you feel like, you know, what am I supposed to do? So if you're in the same boat, like I've been there, and it's really difficult. What I will say though is that with time, I started to realize that he was more or less sleepy around the same time every day. Not like the exact same time. It wasn't like I had to be super strict, like, oh my god, it's 9:55 and every day he goes to sleep at 9:55, and if I put him to sleep at 10, then that's it, he's not gonna nap. But I started to kind of get used to knowing like, okay, he's gonna be due for his morning nap around this time, and then his afternoon nap around this time. And after like maybe 2 weeks of doing that, he started to get more on a schedule. I stopped stressing myself out with like, okay, how many hours has he been up? Okay, he's been up for 3 hours or 3.5 hours. Like I stopped that stress because I was really driving myself crazy. And with time, we got into a good routine. So right now, that's what's working for him. More or less around 10 is his morning nap, and I look for his sleepy cues. So like this morning I was sitting there at the table with Riley, and I had him on me, and he started to get really like restless and fussy, and he was trying to like eat my shoulder and like eat my chest, and I could tell that that was just him being ready for his nap. So I took him upstairs, I nursed him. I always sit in the rocking chair and I nurse him right before his nap. Sometimes he will fall asleep on my boob, and then as soon as he's asleep, I put him in his crib facing down because he likes to sleep facing down, and then that's it, he stays sleeping. Sometimes I do that whole evolution, and then he wakes up and he cries for maybe 5 minutes and then goes back to sleep. And then there's other days that I'll be nursing him and enough time has passed and he's still not sleeping, and then I just put him on the crib facing down. And you know, eventually, maybe sometimes it takes 5 minutes, sometimes it takes 10 minutes, sometimes it takes 15 minutes, but eventually he does go to sleep. When he does fight his naps though, it's just really frustrating because he's sitting up now, so he'll go from me putting him face down, then he sits up, he has his little lovey in his crib, so he'll kind of play with that a little bit, and he just kind of crawls around the crib, and then eventually he goes back into his little corner facing down and puts himself to sleep. So he can put himself to sleep, which was a huge win for us, you know, that I don't have to be rocking him anymore and all of that. But some days it's super easy, it's seamless. Like this morning I put him down for his nap, nursed him, he fell asleep, I put him right in the crib, and that's it. He's been out for like all this time while I've been filming. But there's other days that are harder, so just stick with it. The biggest thing is, I think, just to be consistent and to not be super hard on yourself. These tiny humans are very difficult, but as long as they're being fed and they're healthy, and you know, the doctors are telling you that they're fine, like your babies are fine, and you're doing a great job. So that's gonna be it for today's update. I do plan on doing my 8-month postpartum update, which will be a separate video. So if you're interested in seeing that, make sure to just keep your eyes peeled for it. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys to pieces. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys. Bye. How do you say bye guys?
Bye guys.
Bye.